Welcome to the first episode of Voices from the Morgue. True crime enthusiasts, the place where we will explore chilling cases, forensic breakthroughs, and yes, sometimes we laugh nervously on the way. I'm your host, however, I choose to stay anonymous, and today we're diving deep into one of Florida's most infamous serial killers, the Gainesville Ripper. Now let's start setting the scene. It's August 1990, Gainesville, Florida. A sunny college town where students are more worried about exams than murder until the first body is discovered. 5 students would be brutally murdered over 4 horrifying days, their apartments violated and their bodies staged, and a city plunged into terror. This wasn't just random violence. There was a sinister pattern, a signature. And if you think living near campus was stressful for exams, imagine the added anxiety of a serial killer lurking around. Suddenly, your roommate's late-night snack runs are terrifying. Now let's get to the investigative challenges. So, investigators were faced with a nightmare scenario. DNA technology existed, but it was still emerging. Fingerprints, mostly absent. CCTV, grainy at best. But forensic detectives didn't give up. They collected fibers, hair samples, and even a rare type of clock oil left at a crime scene. Yes, somehow our Ripper liked his clocks. I'd like to imagine a serial killer with OCD making sure his workspace smells faintly of Swiss clock oil. True horror with a side of meticulousness. Now, who was Danny Rowland? Danny Rowland, he was born in Shreveport, Louisiana, and had a history of violence, abuse, and mental health struggles. His past foreshadowed his terrifying future. After the murders in Gainesville, investigators learned he'd also committed a triple homicide in Louisiana. But the real breakthrough came when he was arrested for a seemingly unrelated bank robbery in Ocala. That's where science and a little luck connected the dots. Because nothing says obvious criminal like leaving your DNA at both murder scenes and a robbery. Honestly, how do people miss these details? So now we are going to lead on to our capture and confession. Rowland's arrest led to a confession that chilled Gainesville to its core. He admitted to the murders and his methodical planning. Investigators pieced together his timeline, his patterns, and even his psychology. Profilers learned a lot from this case, how trauma and obsession can converge into horrifying violence. And if you thought your roommate was messy, at least they're not dismembering things. Trial and sentencing. So, in 1994, Rowland pleaded guilty to all 5 murders in Gainesville and additional homicides in Louisiana. He was sentenced to death and eventually executed by lethal injection in 2006. Justice was served, but the emotional scars remain for survivors' families and the Gainesville community. So now we are going to head on to the cultural impact in pop culture. Rowland's crimes were inspired aspects of Scream. Yes, the movie with Ghostface. You know, the guy that does the thirst traps all over TikTok. Yes, him. But unlike Ghostface, Rowland wasn't referencing pop culture. He was creating horror in real life. Gainesville learned lessons about safety, awareness, and how criminal profiling can prevent future tragedies. And Ghostface may need to wear a mask, but Rowland just needed a good alibi or at least a robbery for DNA tracking. Now, we are going to segue on to quirky forensic details. So, some oddities in this investigation. Rowland recorded his confessions on cassette tapes. Yes, cassettes. Okay, so by the way, cassettes are not used anymore, but I hope you guys know what a cassette is. The rare clock oil left a trail detectives could trace. Literally, how stupid can you be? And one victim's belongings were neatly arranged, a bizarre sense of order and chaos. I mean, If there's a serial killer handbook, I hope it doesn't recommend matching your shampoo to your victim's hair. But there, forensic science did what it does best. It told the truth where human eyes could not. So now we're going to reflect on the community impact. While rolling is gone, Gainesville is forever changed. The community became more vigilant, students more cautious, and law enforcement more prepared. The case serves as a reminder of both horrors humans can commit and the resilience of humans. And always, if you're ever in Gainesville, maybe leave your clocks alone. Just a tip. So, thank you for joining me on this extended dive into the Gainesville Ripper. If you like this episode, subscribe for more crime stories with forensic insight and occasionally questionable humor. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, when the morgue speaks, we listen. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.